Propane systems are very safe, and of course we've established that they're very convenient. And a couple things we need to do every year to make sure that they're working right. And there's a twofold test here. First, we want to check to make sure that we have the proper pressure so the appliances will operate properly. And then we also want to make sure that we don't have any leaks within the system. Making sure that the system is sealed is very, very important. And you know, Bill, you've been doing these kind of tests for a long time, and there are a number of tools that are available to you that can allow you to find out what's going on.
Yeah, and one of the things that I couldn't do this without, not only testing for appliance problem, but a leak drop-down test, a pressure drop-down test, I do with this manometer. Been using it for years, couldn't live without it. So explain to them what the pressure drop-down test is.
Well, okay, before we do that, remember, let me take you back a few years to when we were in school. Remember science class? Okay, remember we used to play with these manometers. They were U-tubes, or actually U-shaped tubes, okay? They had little numbers on one side of it, and then you would put pressure, they'd be filled with water, and then you put pressure in it, and then you watch the water go up the other column. And here, it's the same thing. We're gonna take this up so we have 11 inches of water column. Now, it's a lot more complicated to use a regular manometer. You got liquid involved in it, and a lot of people can't figure out.
I know they're accurate, but
they're really accurate.
They're not quite as convenient.
They're not convenient at all, but they're certainly really accurate. And so these dial manometers, of course, have made it really, really convenient and easy. So you can take one of these with you. You can fold it up. It stores really easy. So, hey, tell us a little bit about doing the pressure test.
Well, one of the things that I've learned over the years that doing a pressure drop-down test once a year is very, very important. I suggest it to all of my clients. Everybody should do it. If you haven't done it, by all means, get it done. Pressure drop-down tests, basically what you do is you set the manometer up, turn the propane off, and you're going to give it about 3 minutes to see it, and you want to drop no less than 1/2 inch of water column.
Well, once you find out, let's say you find out that you have a leak, then you got these devices here.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Can help you find it, because even though you have a leak, you don't know where it's at this point. So you have to use the tools of the trade.
And the systems are so large. There's so many fittings. You got refrigerator and the water heater and even the gas valves themselves can leak right through the orifice. So this is a very, very accurate one. It's got a different type of a tip on it. It's actually made by one of the companies that make the controls, the leak detectors for this. So this is kind of a broad spectrum here. It'll pick up a leak in a larger area. This one's actually made by one of the tool companies. It's got a little bit of a tip on it, and it actually will it'll actually pinpoint more. It won't pick up a broad area, and it'll happen when it gets closer.
Right. Bill, these are great products, and they cost a lot of money, but I've got one of these right here on my body. You know what it is?
No.
It's my nose.
Yeah.
My nose.
That's right.
Propane has a smell to it. It's not. Propane normally is odorless.
In its natural state.
In its natural state, right? So when you have to inject, the suppliers inject this odor into it, so and it smells like rotten eggs, or what do you call it, skunk?
Yeah, some of the people even call it skunk oil.
Skunk oil. But you know what? If you want to know the truth, it's ethyl. Ethel Mercaptan. Did you know Ethel Mercaptan?
I never met her.
Oh, well, ethyl is the reason why we are able to smell the propane if it leaks. And so, where you follow your nose, and then once your nose takes you close to where it's at, then what do? Then we go take the bubble stuff and we go figure out if it's leaking or not. So it's a little more complicated than what you do, but at least if you're in the field, you can get it done without having to worry about having to specialize equipment.
And if you're out somewhere and you pick up a leak, or you smell a leak, you don't have any of the leak detector, everybody's got a basting brush. Put a little bit of dishwashing liquid in a cup and some water and use the basting brush. Go around, and if there is a leak, it'll show up. But when you're done, rinse it off, because some of the dishwashing liquid can be corrosive.
Yeah, you don't want to use anything with ammonia in it. That's
nothing with ammonia. But if you wash it off, then I think you'll be fine.
I think we should go inside and figure out how to do a leak down test here.
Absolutely. Okay, grab the manometer and let's go in.
All right. So the first step in doing a pressure drop-down test is to, of course, locate the stove. Once you've done that, you pull the stove top up, and you want to make sure that if you have any connections for the igniters, that you disconnect the wires, okay, and then remove the stove top. At this point, the propane is still on, and we're going to connect the manometer to the center burner orifice. Now turn on the burner, and you'll see that the dial gauge will read about 9.5 to 10. And that's because there's a second pressure regulator in the line that reduces the water column to 9.5 to 10 in a stovetop. Go outside, turn off the propane source, and then open another burner, and then very slowly you'll see that the needle will come down to 8 inches of water column. At that point, turn the burner off. At this point, all you got to do is wait. If nothing happens to the needle for 3 minutes, then you know that your system is intact. If there is a leak, you'll see the needle drop. While the propane is still off, we're going to check for 11 inches of water column. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the gas line from that regulator that's in the stove. Once we have that done, we're going to put in the adapter to which we're going to hook up the hose from the manometer. We've established that we do indeed have 11 inches of water column, and now we're going to turn off the propane source. While the propane is still off, we're going to simply remove the adapter and reconnect the gas line. Once the propane line is connected, we're going to go outside, we're going to turn on the propane, and we're going to get our bubble solution and we're going to check for leaks.